Hello. Look, I want to act kind of goofy now. I am sitting up here, get ready to go back onto my tablet so that I can try to once again embed my extra channels. Because when I get ready to go back on my regular live stuff, I want to make sure I got everything together. So as I stream from one platform, it'll go out to all my other like channels and platforms and stuff like that, which is around the world. Okay. Now, I wanted to come on here, like I said, just a little bit. I've been trying my best, right? Because I want to do it more professionally now. And I'm talking about like when I get ready to come on, I want to do it like a regular, show where you come on and you talk about certain issues in life, and then you share the solution towards it, or share in a sense that when we touch on certain things that's deep and personal, that we can share where that person can also gain peace in whatever it is they're dealing with. That's what I'm looking at when it comes to a lot of stuff. Now, I would like to share this, right, because and I'm not making nobody look bad or anything like that, but I have two houses, and I have about 11 people in them houses. I have 5 bedrooms in one, and I got 4 bedrooms in another. So I got a mother and daughter in one, and I got another mother and daughter in another one, but they're grown. But the reason why I'm sharing this, because anytime you sign up for my housing program, if you sign up for my housing program, you have to sign up for my mental health program, right? And my program is independent living. So it's teaching you how to be responsible and productive on your own. So, well, you got your counselor now. Don't get on that own wrong, right? Because that's the part of the mental health group. Now, the mental health group that I deal with, whatever my clients' issues are, right? Their goal to me, they supposed to address those issues. And if I feel like the whole house or the two houses need therapy, they might fight. I don't need no therapy. I don't want to do this and that, right? Because they don't want to open up to a lot of stuff. But they're going to get therapy. You got me? And I feel like for me, I have to go. Because certain ones, they get signed, and I'm going to say a PRP counselor. But then they get to the point, it's like they don't want to show up for the meetings. Like the person might come, they done disappeared. Or they call them on the phone and the person didn't answer. Well, my thing is with my psychiatrist, with my therapist, with my PRP, with whoever that's working with my clients, if you call yourself reaching out to them and they're not responding, that's where I come in at. That's where I come in at. Because these people get paid to do a job. And that's how I let my clients know. They get paid to help y'all. And if they're not calling you, or they're not visiting you, or they're not doing what they're supposed to do with you, or you're doing the opposite, then that's a problem. So I had to talk with my guy. And some people that first came to me, they real humble, you know, real polite, cool, stuff like that. And then after a while, I begin to see that other side slowly but surely show up. When you come into my housing program, I do an inventory myself so I can have a better understanding of who I'm dealing with. But I want to know like the mental conditions when you come into my house. Like if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with bipolar, if you're dealing with PTSD, something like that, and schizophrenia. As long as you're taking your meds and doing what you got to do to be productive, that's great. But then when I see you getting to the point that you like slack up on your meds, or you feel as though now you feel better, I don't need them no more. No, that's not how it works. And with me, if you sign up for my mental health group, my thing is stay with them because you want whichever group, health group or healthcare group, whatever group you're working with, you want to build like a family with whoever. And when I say whoever, I'm talking more like your counselor, your therapist, or your psychiatrist. You want them to know who you are. So say like when you're going through certain things and you reach back out to them, they already kind of familiar with you. So they know how to work with you a little bit better. So if you got a counselor or somebody prescribing medicine for you, normally it's the psychiatrist, and then you turn around, you got a supply for which I don't think they do 90 days, right? But you might have enough to last you each month, right? And then you get to the point you run out, you can't really reach that one, so you'll go to another one. A lot of psychiatrists will not keep prescribing medication for you because you're running from place to place to place. So I try to tell people who need medication to stick with that one person that they're dealing with, you know. Because for me, and I have to put it like this for some of y'all that might not understand, the 26th of this month, I will have 30 years clean from the drugs, from the alcohol. And I'm going to tell y'all this. I have no problem telling you straight out that I am an addict. I have no problem telling anybody that I am an addict. Basically, what I'm saying to you, I have an addictive personality. And I can't do one of nothing. But over the years, I learned to tell myself no. As a Christian man, I understand that the flesh, you got me when I said addiction, the flesh is what desires what is wrong, totally against my spirit. So my flesh and my spirit is at war with each other. And the spiritual man have to learn to tell that flesh man, nope, not today, bro. Nope, can't have no more. Because one thing about me, and I learned, and I was sharing with some of my guys today, rap is food, rap is lying, rap is manipulating, rap is sex. Sex is a big addiction for me too. When I'm inside a woman, it's like I'm in that safe place. Whenever I'm hurting about something inside, I go straight for that comfort inside a woman. And once I'm in her and I'm out of her, I'm back into whatever it is. So I had to learn, Steve, you got to deal with whatever issues going on inside of you. Because I'll run. Look at Tiger Woods, people like us. Look at R. Kelly. Look at R. Kelly. And when I mention R. Kelly, I could not get mad with R. Kelly. I don't give a hell what y'all think. Because one thing I know, to him, sex was addiction, like the dope and the cane and the alcohol. I remember being there. I always had to tell myself because I slept with females like 21, 18, 19. And I used to have to tell myself, Steve, don't, some young girls now, and I keep it real, fat as I don't know what, but they babies. They babies. And that's the stuff a lot of us who chase after certain females, they could be young, but they look like women. But they young. I don't care how they act. They can act grown, but they young. And sometimes men go for that because of the physical. And over the years and doing work on myself, because one, I'm gonna start probably doing an NA show too, on one of my podcasts, a certain time out the week. And I want to talk about addiction. I want to talk about the obsessive and the compulsive behavior. I want to talk about practicing the spiritual principles, being honest, open-minded, and willing. I call them truth, faith, and trust, because that's what a relationship is based on, even with myself. First, I got to feel that in myself. That's spiritual. This is a spiritual thing. And don't get it mixed up with your religion, with your culture. This is spiritual. And the same God that's working in my life is working in your life. You might call him another name. But I begin to understand as a Christian man who lives according to the scripture to the best of his abilities. I do believe that the creator, the spoken word, which became the living word, which became the written word, had become the living, breathing word. Because God is his word, right? God is his word. So when that spirit was hovering through the universe, words came out of that spirit. And it's not to go too deep. The world was already here before Adam came. All right? It was people already here. When God created Adam, he put him in a special place. That's when he started creating the lineage. And I'm talking about the chosen ones from Adam and Eve. That's why a lot of us suffer and we go through what we go through. Because we are living examples of how God wants us to live, to show other people. Now, if you feel the love and the compassion inside of you, and you call yourself having a relationship with God or Allah, however y'all call him, but if you call yourself having a relationship, and you know it's in scriptures too, it say be like-minded. So once you gain a connection, it's about being loving, kind, and considerate like God. And guess what? Understanding that too, we can be angry, resentful, hateful. So when I look at we look at Satan and we look at Adam, y'all got to understand one thing. That's your character. That's our character as a human being. There's a good side to us. There's an evil side to us. And there's also a loving, caring side of us. But I listen to a lot of people, right? And we'll talk about their stories. Do y'all realize their stories are our stories? Because I started reading about me, like Adam, with the first family, how he lost the first family and God blessed him with double. So when y'all tell people that, say like somebody been married and their marriage don't work and they get married again, then you want to sit back and tell somebody that that's against the God. No, that's against God. I was going to say blasphemy. But if you read in the Bible, marriages and having concubines, however you pronounce it. So y'all know what I'm trying to say. Please bear with me. A lot of them was married and had women on the side, And I'm not saying today that it's right to do a lot of that, but some people still believe in that. Am I going to sit back and tell you you're wrong? No, I'm not. Because if that's what you believe in, that's fine. I just know God told me I need to have one wife. But guess what? Every time I got married and it got hectic, I went and I cheated. That was my way of sedating my feelings. And I have no problem telling people that. I can tell you like this, and I'm going to say it this way. Stepping outside your marriage is wrong. Okay? Stepping outside your marriage or cheating in your marriage, you're wrong. But guess what? And I had to be honest with me. I liked cheating. Whenever I hurt, I run to females. And believe me, if you hear me talking about being caught up with one, 9 times out of 10 is 5. I'm caught up like the drugs and the alcohol, and it's time for me to get ready to let it go. Because I'm getting more pain out of it now than what I was getting pleasure. It was pleasurable at first. Now I'm starting to feel the shame, the guilt, the negative side of it. And that's what eats up your spirit. So I wanted peace back in my spirit. So I was telling somebody that today too, because I had to be honest with me. I love cheating. Somebody said, oh, you shouldn't feel like that or you shouldn't think like that. I said, no, I love cheating. I had to be honest with me. They said, why? I said, because if I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't do it. If you understand what I'm saying. Even though it's wrong, but you find some kind of joy and pleasure in it. That's why you do what you do. So I had to understand, even though it was wrong, it satisfied or it killed that a need, whatever I'm going through inside. Keep that in mind. Whatever I'm going through inside, it's like it killed that feeling for that time. But once I was out and back into reality, I'm feeling that mess again. So it never went nowhere. I was just sedating whatever it is going on inside. So eventually, I had to stop. And see, this is what a lot of people don't understand. When we use that word repent, right? Now, NNA, when you find yourself caught up in an obsessive and compulsive behavior, number one, you got to be honest to yourself. That's number one. You got to be honest to that self, to thy own self be true. You got to realize whatever it is truly hurting you, or it's causing you death, or it's hurting, you, other people too, with your behavior. So eventually, if you don't straighten it out, things happen. We can get killed, we can get stabbed, we can get shot, whatever. Because I'm always doing it with somebody that even 9 times out of 10, they got a friend too. So I'm putting myself in harm's way. So number one, I have to be honest with me, and I had to stop. We call that repent. We call that surrender, right? So I had to turn and walk away from those practices. So that meant the young ladies that I used to talk to, thank God I would have their numbers in my phone, not really in my head. So when I deleted their numbers out, I wouldn't call them, hey, what's up, what you doing? Like a week or two later. Because I done that too until I eventually left it alone. But I'm just saying, if you got their numbers, you delete the numbers. You might find yourself riding over there where they live at, just wanting to ride by. But see, a lot of that stuff I had to stop and I had to walk the other way. And it was times I felt myself running back, but I had to walk the other way. I had to stop and walk the other way. And eventually, right, because that's the part of repent. That's the part of surrendering. People will not share those things with you. So I'm in the process of breaking away. Sometimes you might get away for say like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a couple of weeks. I'm just using those as examples, and then you find yourself touching it again. Then you feel in the same misery and pain again, so you back up, and eventually you back up and you stay away. Some people can just let it go and don't go back, and I admire that. I admire that because some people can look at something and say, oh, that's not good for me, and don't touch it again. But when you got an addict, a person with an addictive personality, you kind of wrestle with things first before you let it go. And see, these are the things that I want to talk about. Then I want people to help people understand it's okay. It's okay. Because guess what? Remember I said I like younger females? Now, I haven't dated nobody under 21 in years. And I'm older now. So when I say that, I wasn't even 50 then. I was, you know, because that's when things really start turning around when I turned 50, as far as not ripping and running and doing a lot of stuff like I used to do. And I was talking to some guys the other day, right? Around my age. And y'all see this great, right? I said, I gotta tell y'all something. They was like, what, man? I said, I went in Walmart and I was looking for my number 57 to dye this. And I told him, I said, thank God I ain't get it, because when I dye my stuff and I start wearing, I call them my hooker outfits, right? Because I wear stuff that I want a woman to look at and be like, wow, you look good. And I know what women like when it comes to the dressing and the way you smell. I know it. And I want it, I'm like, the new year in, right? So I want to start fishing again. But I got too much to do. And I don't want to be distracted in what God called me to do. But I had to tell them guys that, because I was looking, I was going to go over there and get me some Beijing. Thank God I didn't. You know, thank God I didn't. Because my thing is, I don't want to get lost in my journey, in my walk for Christ. You know what I mean? And I know certain things will take my focus off what God want me to do. So Thank God I didn't get it. But anyway, and that's why I said, with the couch conversation, the whole thing is keeping it real. And I do want to write stuff down, right? And what I am going to do, I am going to talk about like molestations. I am going to talk about rape. I am going to talk about abuse. I am going to talk about abandonment issues. I am going to talk about those character defects that keeps us in trouble. And I'm talking about acting out on our feelings and emotions and stuff like that, right? In a negative way. I want to talk about those things to help people get a grip on their lives so they won't be too quick to act out on that stuff. I had to learn. So if you hear me tell y'all that I'm the type of guy that I carried a gun at 14, 15. I had a summer job, right? And I was carrying the gun with me to work. A lot of people ain't know. That's when they had the youth entitlement program out. And that was like over, 40 years ago. Because I was 14, I'm 60 now. So that was like 45 years ago, right? And I had the summer job. And during that time, my family was hustling. So we sold weed and stuff like that. And I carried a gun. That's why I understand the little kid with the gun that shot Tim. Now, I'm not going to say it was right. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. But my thing is, Tim brought a baseball bat to a gunfight. He didn't know. And I was always taught by my brothers, never carry a gun to a gun. I mean, never carry like a knife to a gunfight. And guess what? When I was younger, I did. I did. You might have had a gun, but I came for you 9 times out of 10. You ran with your gun. I ain't trying to be smart because little stuff like this just helps me reflect back on my, younger days and when I was right in that mess. You know what I mean? And it seemed normal. I try to tell people that. I try to tell people that don't understand when you living in a life and everybody around you don't do nothing but lie, manipulate, cheat. It seems like it's a normal thing to do. A person that don't do that seem like a square. But when you dealing with people, right, and you running around, hey, Facebook friend, but when you running around, right, and shooting. Let me go back to this, right? I started smoking weed at 11 years old. And right now, when I said that, I'm looking at that 11-year-old kid that started smoking weed. Now, mind you, I'm a kid, 13 years old. When I turned 13, teenager, I had my first glass, one of them containers, one of them like cups, them long cups with the top to it. I'm trying to think of the what they was called, but they was plastic, right? Well, anyway, my cousin gave me a glass of a cup of it was Tupperware, the long plastic cup with the top to it, full of Thunderbird. 13 years old. I was a teenager. 14 years old. I'm snorting cocaine. And I remember saying, that's people saying, that's the rich man high. That's the rich man high. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, doing or living the way we were living, that's the way I felt. Hey, I could afford it, we were selling it. But and I got a summer job. 14 years old, probably around get ready to turn like 15, right? So I remember asking my cousin one day, and I'm snorting the cocaine. I said, can you shoot this? She said, yeah. And I said, hit me. When she hit me, I had to catch the bus to go to work. And by the time I got up to All Saints Church on Liberty Road, I wasn't feeling it no more. And I told my cousin, I said, I don't feel it no more. What's wrong? She said, it don't last long. I was like, oh, mind you, I'm between 14, 15. Then I started shooting dope. Look at our 14, 15 year olds. When I see kids that young getting high, right? Even younger, you know what I mean? And the first thing that hit me, it's like, what the hell is going on in their life that they doing this? And the whole thing with it, they trying to sedate a pain. Something that happened in their life when they was much younger. That's why when it comes to our elected officials and our local leaders, and you want to talk about the kids, you gotta get them. And I know that we can't save everybody. I know that. But start somewhere. Try to make a dent in it. You know what I mean? So it'll slow down. You gotta make a dent, because if you don't get to the root issue, it's going to keep happening over and over and over, because y'all looking at the behavior and you judging them according to the behavior. And I understand, but do you understand the freaking pain that a lot of them in? And they feel like they don't have nobody to talk about their pain. Because I didn't. And that's how I felt. My mother was there, but I couldn't tell my mother, because, be honest with you, I didn't know what I was feeling at the time. But I remember my mother asking me, Steve, I got black marks on my arm, right? Like a kid from shooting drugs. My mother said, Steve, what is wrong with you? I didn't know. I didn't know. I couldn't tell her. I couldn't tell her. And it wasn't until I got clean and my mother was gone. My mother passed away when I was 26. And it was like, man, I could tell mama I'm hurting, and tell mama what's going on. But mama gone. Mama gone. And I couldn't talk to my mother. I couldn't tell her where I was hurting, why I was hurting, and what was going on. So can y'all understand why I try to help our people so much? Because some of them don't have nobody they can talk to, y'all. I tell anybody who have a kid or something that's giving them trouble, I say, if you want me to talk to him, I'll talk to him. I don't care if it's a boy or girl. You know why? Because a lot of times they want to feel like you care. And sometimes I hate like hell that God got me here. Sometimes I hate it because I relate to the pain. And my goal is to help you embrace that pain and walk you up out of it. And I'm just sharing this with y'all, right? Because when I think about our babies out there and they lost like hell, when I listen to, I'm going to say, the commissioner, Ivan Bates and them, they lawyers, they know about the law. They know how to apply things to your life when you fuck up. So let's apply this to their life before they fuck up. That's where I come in at. This is what we can do to help them. But you know the people gotta want the help. But sometimes you gotta talk to them to make them feel comfortable, like I'm here for you, no matter what. And I'm just thinking back, do y'all know how good that feel? I'm talking about as a child when somebody tell you they here for you or they love you and they don't really know you, and you like in your mind, for real? Well, why my mother or father or, and I don't know if she on this, and I'm not going to mention her name. Somebody called me the other night, and the guy's 19 now. He's doing pretty good. His father put him out at 16. He got locked up, and the kid had an issue with learning, but now he done got all of this together, things together. So I can't go too deep, right? So she called me to see what we can do, right? First thing I said, I ain't getting too damn close to him because I tend to take kids on like they mine. I'm like, I want to help, but I'm sometimes daddy want to step in, and then I realize, so I care. Don't get it wrong, I care. That's why, and I'll be there for you, but I want to guide you to somebody that will do business. Because when I do it, for some reason, you become like a son or, nephew or family. And I'm like, being honest, I'm telling myself the next group of people that come into my housing program, it's going to be all about business because those suckers are spoiled. And that's because of me with them, with my connection and my relationship. But it's like I stepped over a line. And that's like business, And I'm gonna tell y'all, in order for me to act like that, you heard what I just said. As far as business wise, I gotta act like it's business, and it is business. But I gotta keep it more in line of business because I'm the type of person that I care too much. And I ain't. And don't get it wrong, I'm a Pisces anyway, so I call myself a crybaby, all that type of stuff. But I care too much, and it's nothing wrong with it because I want the best for whoever come in my life. But it's like sometimes I will babyfy you in order, and so that's where I'm at now, is trying to get my mental health group to come and do what they need to do so that I won't be hands on too much. You understand? So I'm talking with my people around the house, and basically what I'm saying, y'all, and I don't want to lose you. This is what I do, right? This is what I do because I sponsored a lot of men and women throughout my years of in recovery. And a lot of them don't come back to meetings no more, right? Because they didn't turn their lives around. They're doing great. They out there living life. That's what you're supposed to do. So that's what I do. Anybody I work with. So I'm more like, I'm going to say your life coach. I'm more like a life coach. I'm more like your counselor. I'm more like their therapist. And I do a lot of work on me. So anytime I'm feeling a certain way, I have to go inside and say, okay, Steve, what is going on? So I got to take a real good look at me. But I know a lot of people don't know how to do that. Because a lot of people don't know how to do that, I will refer you out to like a client, a therapist, psychiatrist, so you can deal with whatever. But if you and I are sitting down together, I'm going to try to encourage and motivate you to go deep. So if you sitting there and you talking with me, what I have a tendency of doing, I will share something with you. Hey, baby, I will share something with you to break that ice. Because the whole thing is I want you to trust me. That's why a lot of people, that's why when I look at, and that's not their jobs, don't get it wrong, but when I look at our commissioner, when I look at our lawmakers, when I look at our elected officials, and when it comes to the inner city people, the ones that's hurting the most. And it's not to say that other people not hurting, but the inner city people is where they turn everything apart. They taking everything out. And they wondering why our people acting like animals. And I'm like, y'all are very educated. Y'all are very smart. Y'all got PhDs and all this type of stuff. But you don't know how to deal with people on that type of level? You don't really know how to take somebody inside of themselves to deal with those ugly issues that they've been running from. And I realize a lot of them don't. And be honest, that's why a lot of them don't like me coming in. And I can tell y'all right now, a lot of our elected officials, and they don't, because when I come in, hey, y'all, let's sit down and talk. I can basically share some things with you and then help you understand what we could do to move people away from things. But the people have to want it. And not only that, I sent the message over to this lady on Twitter, and she's a police, and she was talking about how her team, they gonna go after, like, they ain't going no further than dealing with the people on the streets. I'm talking about like the drug dealers. Now, I didn't want to get too deep, but I wanted to tell her, let me tell you something, woman. When I was hustling, you couldn't get to me. Cause I had my guy that ran the stuff. I had one who hold the package and the one who sold it to you. See, I was there, but they did the moves, right? They was my workers. And if you came to me and I didn't know you, and you came to me and you be like, hey, bro, I want to get something. What is you talking about? Because I never dealt with people I didn't know. That's why when I tell people stuff like what I used to do and I never went to prison for it, never went to prison, they be so amazed. You know why? And my thing is, guess what? She said something about the high level drug dealers. You ain't gonna get them. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because a lot of them ain't in the city. It's coming from the top. It's coming from the top. So if y'all really, cause that message was like, y'all got your plans all together. I'm saying to myself, no, I tweeted 3 times. And it wasn't that I was trying to be smart because I know she's gonna check me out. If your office is good at what they do, why are we having the issues that we having now? And I'm gonna tell y'all and I gotta go here because I love the eye in the sky. Before that's that plane. I'm riding with Ross and I'm riding with Archie. And he's talking about the plane. Now I heard about the plane years ago. So now I'm sitting with the creator and all of that, right? He's talking about how that plane worked, and I never even seen the presentation. And I told Ross, just from him explaining how that thing worked, I said, Ross, you're going to cause a lot of people to lose their jobs. You know why? Because that plane will collect whatever evidence, and that's the sad part about it, the crime have to be committed. But on my end, it's to come in with intervention, to try to, because that's where you got to start it. You got to get back into the community. We don't have a lot of recreation centers and stuff like that, mainly with dance and music, art and theater, and that's the program that I'm trying to open up right now myself. But you got to get involved in the community to win the people faith and trust again. I told Mayor Pugh that. I told Jack Young that. When things started going in haywire, I'm like, y'all need to get into these freaking communities. Even when you with the police, stop coming in there with y'all uniforms on. Try to come like looking down. You know what I mean, dressed down. Because you want to feel as normal as possible where people won't look at you with the badge, the gun, and all that, because then they know what's what. Even though you coming in regular clothes, you can have a gun if you got to, hide it on you or whatever. Y'all got that too. But you have to win their faith and trust. If you cannot touch that, you're not going to slow nothing down and you're not going to stop it because they don't trust us. Well, y'all. And not only that, y'all got to understand, look what Pew did. Look what a lot of them did, right? And got away with it. Look at Trump, one of the biggest crooks you ever want to meet. And he's loved all over. He remind me of a damn drug dealer from, I say he good. I say he good. Because he know how to play people. That's the point. He know how to play people. I'm like, look at this man. Crooked. And then I'm reading something about Biden. I don't even want to go there. Because I'm reading about Biden. Trump took documents from the White House and store it over in his house. Now they chasing after Trump now, and then Biden, you gonna do the same things. That goes to show you, people with fucking money, People with money. Your biggest crooks. Your biggest crooks. And now I'm listening to them all day talking about Biden did the same thing that Trump did with documents from the White House that's not supposed to be in their house. I'm like, what the freak is going on with these people? So now y'all need to understand the reason why I'm saying it, because you got politicians that's crook as hell. Then you got the lower level people that's crook as hell, who you think a lot of them learning it from. And I'm like, Biden know better than that. He used to be the vice president. You know better than that. Now, I ain't gonna say white privilege because one thing about I'm gonna say Obama, I ain't hear nothing about him taking documents from the White House. But it's something about that. There's something about it. Now Trump did it. Now you gonna do it. It's something about that. Something about it. And you ask me, and I understand that. And I'm thinking about they trying to charge this kid as a grown man, right? He's a child. No matter how you put it, he's a child, right? And you got a bunch of grown-ups, like Biden and like Trump that took documents, and they're gonna take it. The documents this time was in Biden's garage. The heck is that? Let that been me. I'd be cuffed and gone. And see, when y'all don't touch that, people like them, that's why I said it's there. It comes from up top on down. The fentanyl pouring into Baltimore City. If we got over 300 deaths in Baltimore City by gun, we got about 900 with fentanyl. Y'all don't hear about it a lot. And the reason why I'm saying that, because being a part of Communities United, my director asked me to help them fight that bill to get safe consumption sites here so that an addict can go and use. And if their drugs is laced with fentanyl, it's a team there to bring them back. Now, y'all got to understand, I'm in recovery. So I said no, because I don't glorify using, right? So I'm like, no, nope. But then during this time, they was finding too many people, I'm gonna say behind bushes, that just went to use, and they passed out, didn't nobody know, they died. In vacant houses, in places like that, right? Well, anyway, this is what I told my director at Communities United, because they was talking about getting them in hospitals. And my thing is, I'm on Pennsylvania and North. Nowhere in the world somebody gonna go from Pennsylvania North all the way over to what, Bond Secure or John Hopkins or the University of Maryland. I can say Maryland Generals. No, they not gonna go there to get high. I said, but if y'all can get a site, look to what I'm saying in 1515, because that's close by, and they can go and use. And if their drugs is laced with fentanyl, they go out. It's a doctor and all of that there to bring them back. I said, and then it hit me. It's about saving lives. So I told my director, I said, okay, I'll help y'all get that bill passed. The bill made it to Congress, and Congress rejected that bill. And I said, they just want people to die. They just want people to die, right? Now, a lot of y'all don't pay attention, but right there at Cumberland and North Avenue, between Cumberland and North Pennsylvania, they rallied our people together like cows or like animals. The police sitting right there watching them. The MTA police up on the corner, and they watching them killing each other off right there. You couldn't do that when I was coming up. When 5-0 came out, you had to get rid of your stuff. And they right there, police right there looking. I'm like, what in the heck? And then check this out, they got cameras right there too. Now, mind you, I'm at Pennsylvania North sometimes. So I done told certain people, I said, let me tell y'all something. They videotaping y'all. So if it's anything that happened and they need you for whatever reason, they can use that information to frame you for other stuff, because y'all right here. So if they see things, they can grab you. Not only right there, over there where the senior citizen building is at, right on the side of White Lot. Okay, it brought me back in. I had to take it out. But look, keep in mind, y'all, because of my experience with the game and all that type of stuff, I use my personal experience to help people to turn their lives around, right? And it works for me. And it's been working for me a day at a time for almost 30 years. I'll have 30 years on the 26th of this month. I never thought I would stop. I never thought I would stop using. Never, ever, ever. I never thought I would stop drinking. I'm a cold alcoholic. I can tell you that now. I drunk half a gallons of Thunderbird. I mean, half a gallons of rum and chased it with Thunderbird. So I was a cold alcoholic, right? Now, 6 months before I came into the rooms, God took that taste of the alcohol, right? I never, ever, I was willing to die with my boots on in the middle of the street. That's how I used to see stuff, right? Like John Wayne and them, right? Dying in the middle of the street with my boots on. And as I begin to get older, I don't want to die in the streets with my boots on. I know I'm gonna die. One day I know God gonna say, "All right, Steve, time for you to come back." I know it, and I don't care what nobody say. Um, 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 I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby girl. I'm trying to think of your name, Minister Sean. I don't care what nobody say, but I'm telling y'all right now, I feel like in my spirit that I earned my seat beside Christ. Now, man ain't told me that, but I feel in my spirit that I'm going to sit beside Christ. And Minister Sean, if you still right there, right, I know you probably would better understand because what I do is not something that I choose to do. I know God called me to wait a minute, y'all. Can y'all still hear me too? I just screwed up again. I hope y'all can hear me because I can't see my other camera. Do I do overlay? I can't see my other camera, y'all. So I hope y'all can still hear me. Let me know if you can't hear me. Then I ain't gonna be on too long because it's almost an hour. But and I apologize if I kind of jumped a little bit too far on certain things that I was saying. But you know, I am so passionate, y'all, where I want to see our city change. And when I hear about shootings and I hear about a lot of other stuff that's going on, it really breaks my heart. It really did. So okay, I'm back now. I'm back. I got both of my screens in there. I can see my voice thing moving up and down. I know we can't save everybody. Okay. So don't get that wrong. I know we can't. But the ones that want the help, that's where my heart is at. Let's help them. So normally when I'm out on the streets, I'll tell our young guys what I do, right? And I understand that, you know, you hustling, make a little money, stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you some of the police that say the same thing. And they understand. Some of them that understand that lifestyle. But when y'all get to the point that y'all start killing each other, that's when we have a problem. Yep. So this is what I tell our young men. I understand you doing what you gotta do, make a little money. When you're ready to come out of this, I'm here for you. I can get them into apprenticeship programs. I can get them in workforce development programs. The ones that want a GED, we can get them into that. The ones that, and see, I'm saying this, right? Because a lot of people won't know if you don't talk about the things that you do or you try to offer. So my thing is, I try to keep a list of at least 3 businesses that gives me product, the same type product. So if I call you and you don't have nothing to give me, I'll call him. And if they don't have nothing to give me, I can call them. Because between the 3, somebody gonna have something. You know what I mean? So I try to keep a list of all of that. And by me being a tractor trailer driver, I know a lot of businesses that have warehouses and they have stuff in there abundantly that they're not using. And a lot of times they will donate that back, or they might sell it for a very, very, very cheap price. Because what I do when I talk with people, I try to get them to donate as much as they can without us paying for it. So my thing is, if we pay for a certain amount, then I want them to give us more, like more for your money. So that's what I do as a community outreach coordinator. Now, I do a lot of this by myself. That's why I'm asking people. I used to have, to me, a great team. Me, Tracy, all of us, Archie, all of us that was working together. But it was a lot of like backstab and stuff like that, right? And I was trying to tell everybody because I was starting strengthening the community. So my thing is, this is business. It's not a non-profit. It's business. So please don't come over here with the bull jump. And they came over with the bull jump. And I had to let them go. They over there starting this he said, she said, all that type of stuff. They trying to make it seem like it's me. I'm like, no, y'all won't. Now I'll take the blame for what I do. But if I'm not causing stuff, do not point your finger at me. Don't do it because I'm going to tell you take it back. Because that's not where I'm at when it come to doing stuff. I met a couple of nice women. I thought they was my angels. We doing it. Bunch of stuff started by one person accusing somebody else. I said, well, go talk to them. Go talk to them and tell them where you at. Because I was seeing things get ready to fall apart. And then all of a sudden the finger went to be pointed at me. I said, no, no, you won't. No, you will not. No, you will not. Because my thing for us was business. Was business. And if me and you going to be together on the business tip, whatever little feelings you might have, right? Leave that mess over there. Because if your heart is where my heart is at when it comes to helping our people, let's focus on what we need to do. I don't want you to ever stop doing what you do, but I want us to come together. You got me? And you keep running what you doing. I keep running what I'm doing. You need support over there, and I see I can give you support. That's what we do. Or we coming together as a team and we having functions around the cities and there's 4 or 5 organizations together. That's fine. We can do a lot of stuff much better. But then when I step in, I'm a go-getter. I'm not cutting you down. As a community outreach coordinator, my goal is to go out and get sponsors, business partners, and investors. I'm not trying to take over your stuff. But if we together and we trying to make money together, I gotta go. I'm not for this going around in circles. I'm not for it. And I had to walk away from a lot of people. It was like God just moved them out my life and started putting new people in my life. A lot of people. And I'm not gonna call no names because I'm good at calling names. People got it going on, but when you get real close to them, they got it going on, off. And my thing is, if that's what you got to do to fatten up your pocket, at least be honest with me. I'm not trying to go to jail for nobody. And when I talk about robbing Peter to pay Paul, I'm talking about our poor people to fatten up your pockets. And a lot of y'all do that. And y'all know I was calling names. So I'm trying to get to the point of not calling names. Okay. But keep your bull jump away from me. I can understand you doing what you're doing to make money. I understand. But just don't let me see it. And my thing is just be fair with me. I don't want to end up on I was gonna say America's Most Wanted. I don't want to end up on that show where they talk about how Steve Copeland had made millions and getting over on the people and stuff. And I'm like, where's the millions at? Steve Copeland, where is it at? But because I'm tied to you, and I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of people like that. And they might be looking at my live. But my thing is, if that's business for you, okay. But at least let me know so I can decide, do you want to continue working with them? I don't want to be in handcuffs and wonder how the heck I get in. Uh, don't play with me. Come on. So my heart, y'all, is for our people. And a lot of stuff I do by myself now, and it's wearing me out. It's wearing me out. And I need people that's serious about helping our people. I don't even go get pallets no more. I got about 30 bags of clothes on the truck that I need to get off. I got a dining room or kitchen set on my truck. I got to get off. So I'm thinking about taking everything up to Savers. And they got them big old things you throw them in and empty my truck up and start all over again. Y'all see, I talked about getting like a mobile home so that I can go into these encampments and sign people up for like housing and homeless services to get them the proper help that they need. So that way, whoever the outreach worker working with, if I talk to that homeless person, they say, "Well, I haven't heard from in like 2-3 months." I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you to find out what's going on, why they still out here. And that was one of the reasons I was trying to get the mobile home. And be honest with you, I don't know if God trying to tell me later to turn this into the mobile office. My truck. I don't know. But some things I had to back up off because basically I'm asking for help. And it's financial help. And a lot of y'all know where my heart and my mind is at towards our less fortunate people to build back up in the black community. Why you think they set our people up to kill each other off? And a lot of y'all know that. And a lot of y'all just sit back and go, oh, well, unless it happened to one of your family members. Now you want everybody to focus now on you and your loss. I ain't waiting around for somebody to hurt mine. I'm doing whatever I can to try to slow stuff down. I don't mine lives in a different uh area, lifestyle. But it's not to say can't nothing happen to them. But I don't feel as uncomfortable about mine than I might do yours because yours is in the city My kids never grew up in the city like that, in the inner city. My son played soccer since he was 4 or 5. So we always been around a lot of white people. My daughters played um, soccer too. My youngest two did modern and tap dance and stuff like that. So I realized we don't have a lot of that in our recreation centers in the city. So I have a business proposal just for that. And I hope somebody hear what I'm saying and want to invest in the business with me. I'm just trying to help, just like a lot of other people, make Baltimore City a safer place to live and to come and visit. That's all. Before God called me home, I would love to see us in a more safer place. You know, I done dealt with people, y'all, who fight against sex trafficking. And at one point they was talking about all this stuff. I don't hear it a lot no more. Sex trafficking and kidnapping and all of that. I know people that speaks on this. I got a lady from the UK, and I think I shared that earlier. She was telling me how Facebook been coming for her about some of the stuff she been posting, and they've been telling her it's in violation, right? So, so her and a lot of other people jumped on this page because she invited me over there now, and she's in the UK. And I thought because I didn't hear nothing from her for a while, right? Because of the work she was doing, what does she do? I thought she either got killed or they put her in prison because she fighting against the laws over there. The police know that these older people, she even got George Bush name up there, that's screwing these young kids like 5 and 6 and all that. And she fighting to get that to stop. And she invited me to about 5 or 6, might be some more in there now, other groups, right, that on social media. Now they over in the UK. Some of the other groups might be in another part or another area somewhere, and they fighting to get these people locked up that's over there sleeping with little children. And I happened to read her article the other day, and it hit me. I said, "Oh my God, that's what's your name?" Because I haven't talked to her in years, so we connected back again. And I'm gonna learn as much as I can what's going on over there, so I can speak on it as well. So I don't want to give y'all too much misinformation. So I want to like do my research on certain things. So when I come behind it and talk about it, y'all will understand. Because it's not just happening over there; it's happening here too. We might not hear a lot about it. And so many people, and it's sad to me. So many people, mainly black people, don't like the truth. And people told me that, and I didn't believe it. People told me, said, "Steve, what you doing is not wrong, or what you saying is not wrong. The way I was coming was horrible, but I was coming." And people was telling me, "Steve, what you saying is not wrong. It's how you coming. And then what you saying you're going to have black people hate you. I ain't believe it. I ain't believe it. And I started realizing y'all start coming at me like crazy. It was a group of black people going around setting up white restaurants, and most of them were seafood restaurants, as being racist. The Myers was one. And I was trying to find out why did they tag the Myers, right? Now the Myers had about 5 restaurants. I didn't know that. So, and a lot of people didn't know. And to make a long story short, in the Middle River, some people wanted to open up a seafood restaurant, but they wanted Senior to like come in like this is another one of their restaurants. But it was some black people. But he wouldn't come in. So they targeted Junior and considered him as being a racist because of something that he said way back in what 2010, 12 at the time, I think. And if you read what I read, he was having a conversation with some other people. And now, mind you, Middle River, so he grew up with black friends too. Now, you know, as black and white, we tend to play sometimes, you know, you honky, you this, you that, you know, I'm just saying. So, on one of the statements I read, Vince was like, I'll make you my slave, something like that, right? And people took that. Now, mind you, it's a conversation. And they took it and ran with it. And see, I have a tendency of playing with white people too. I call them the N-word quick. You know, little stuff like that. Mainly if I know I can kid and joke with you, right? I'll say certain things. Now, I was trying to tell, because I had to find out what was really going on, because my goal was to help the black community deal with the racism that's going on in Middle River. And that's what I do as being a member of Communities United. We fight for fair houses and fair wages for black people in Baltimore City. But we will come in and help you, like if your organization, I mean your community out of whack, we will come in and help you get control back over your community. So that's why I went to Middle River to deal with the black community. But when I went, because of the position, I went straight in. I walked straight through the crowd because I like to know what's going on and why. And when I heard this one guy tell Vince, man, I grew up with you, man. I never knew you was like this or never knew you was like that, right? I'm gonna get ready to get off because the camera blacked out on me again, and I had to it was my battery running low, so I had to hurry and plug it back up. But anyway, I was just sharing some of that with y'all, and it's not to bring stuff back up because I had talked about it a lot during that time, and Brenda had asked me as time went on not to talk about it because it was bringing too much negative attention to it. And I was so glad when Donald started talking. Darnell began to see what was really going on himself. And he started talking about it. Excuse me. And it wasn't just him. It was some other people that got a whiff of what was going on. And what they did, go to bed dummy. Devin, kiss grits turkey. Kiss grits turkey. You're an evil dude still in 2023, bro. Get a grip on your life. Um, but like I said, people was telling me. Now, I picked with Lady J, right, a lot. Because when I met Lady J, she had reached out to me and, talking about the show and everything. And she told me, she said, do you know you are considered as the most hated man in Baltimore City? And the first thing that hit me, because I thought about Maxwell Smart, I was like, and loving it. And the reason why I was saying that, because a lot of people didn't know at the time, I fight the city or our elected officials. I fight in another arena to get stuff done. So a lot of people didn't understand that about me. That's why I was trying to tell Kelly, you don't want to walk up this tree system. Not with me. Because I'm pretty well known in what I do, right? Mainly when it comes to trying to, help turn the city around. And so many of our officials know who I am. So anyway, um, um, the goal was to go down there and help the black community. And when I heard that boy tell Vince that, then another lady, I'm sorry, because I'm trying to adjust this phone. When I heard a lady say the same things and knowing that they've been in that area for 15 years. So it's the community or the people that help their business grow. And my thing is, you mean to tell me they in the community with the people and help their business grow that they didn't realize they was, I'm like, they not. Because you, out of all those years, you hanging around or you supporting their business, you will know if they racist. And you wouldn't keep continue supporting the business. And not only that, when I found out they had 5 stores, then I found out that it was people coming from like DC and all over to buy their crabs. I was picking with Vince and I told Vince, I said, you must got some cocaine in y'all crabs, man, But people from out of town would come and support their business. So it taught me that they do great work on top of that, you know. And I'm not going to, if I don't like your product, I'm not going to support you. I'm just not. If I come to a restaurant and I buy something and I'm not satisfied, I'm not coming back. You ain't got to worry about that. So my thing with that was, and a lot of people got mad at me because they actually thought I was turning against our people. And I'm like, no, I actually went to help the black community. And I did stuff just to be smart because I knew people couldn't come up past the grass. So I would walk down there and then go up top. But I would do it to be smart because to me, that was like the plantation. The how can I say it? That was like they was in the cotton field. So I would walk through them and then go right up into the big house. And that was funny to me. And Kelly's told me stop doing it, right? But that was funny to me because they would get mad. They would get mad. But the stupid thing is, that's all y'all had to do was ask me what we talked about. That's all. So people got mad with me. And I would go down there and lay Vince out. Because if I seen him out there picking with people, I go down there and say, Vince, you need to stop. Now, he had his bouncers in there too. So we would talk. And then I would come back out. But nobody ever asked me, okay, what did y'all talk about? And I wouldn't have no problem in sharing with y'all. None. I'm not like a lot of other people. Believe me, when it come to our people. Guess what? You can't say a damn thing bad about me. And then if you do, it's not who I am. Because that's not how I roll. Okay? So, I love y'all. I got some major plans. I got major plans If this make any sense, because I just read your A Devin. I didn't feel it in their spirit. I didn't feel it. And I was looking to feel um how can I say, the ugliness, the hatred. I was looking to feel the evil that surrounds racist people. So when I went in, I went to feel, understand, because that's just where I'm at when it comes to the spirit. Is to feel things, because the spirit will connect you. I did not feel that. I did not feel it. And then you got to understand the people that was doing it was from Baltimore City. The people that was doing it was getting paid to go in communities and start protesting. I had a guy from up there where you at, Devin. Up where you at, right? I had a guy call me and tell me they doing the same things up there, Devin, that they was doing down in Baltimore City. No, they no, I go past there from time to time to see like Vince and them. And because I got to get off Devin, but you coming on here right now. I'm talking to this Muslim guy today, right? And he thought I was a Muslim. Excuse me. And I told him, see, I read and I study scripture, so I do believe that God is Jesus in the flesh. And a lot of people might not believe that, believe the Trinity, right? I feel privileged. I feel honored. I do. Because I started realizing I gained a lot of knowledge of God through the Bible, right? I gained a lot of knowledge. But it was like later, God introduced me to who he was in the flesh as Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh my God. When I read in James, right? And it's like I read that chapter 1,000 times. And it hit me where the word became flesh and dwelt among his people. And they did not recognize him. And it hit me. I was like, oh my God. The word became flesh. Now I don't know how other people can break certain things down, but I felt like I was special in the sight of God. You got me? Then later, because I didn't understand at that time like the these and the thous, and that's their language. It was written in the language they spoke, right? So I went looking for English version King James Bible. And the Holy Spirit hit me and said, what is you doing? Now this is personal now, and I'm just telling y'all me. And I said, that's what Michael Baisden came out to. I said, I'm looking for a King James English Version Bible. So the Holy Spirit hit me and said, I teach you everything you need to know. And all of a sudden, boom, that stuff became clear. It became clear. And that's when I learned from that day forth that it's the Holy Spirit that teaches me everything I need to know. And that's not to knock pastors, that's not to knock ministers, that's not to knock preachers. A lot of y'all went out and spent a lot of money to get your PhD or to get your doctorate. And a lot of stuff that they studied to learn, the Holy Spirit just showed me. And even went beyond that. See, a lot of us will talk about Satan. Do you ever hear too many people don't really talk about the angel of death? People don't really mention succubus and huccubus, somewhere incubus. I heard those names coming up. Lilith, Adam's first wife. That's what the Jewish people believe, but guess what? If you look up information about it, it's there. It's there. This might not be in the Bible, in the one we read, but it's there. And for me, sometimes I don't like going in certain places because I do not want nobody. And if you do, that's your bull junk, it ain't mine. But I don't want nobody to think I'm like blaspheming. If you understand what I'm saying, my goddamn tablet fell, sucker. I had it on this thing and it fell off. So now mind you, I try not to go against whatever you understand or the way you're being taught. But as time went on, God moved me out that box, right? Where I have him in that box of not understanding and uh I will never forget. And then I'm gonna go. Jamal Bryant came in our church and he had a huge Bible, y'all. He had a huge Bible. And he said, find yourself in the stories in the Bible. He said, your life story is written in the Bible. And as time started going on, reading certain things, and I started realizing after a while, I have experienced a lot of that stuff that they went through. Because they just telling you about their lives, right? And it helped me to understand that it's the morals and values and principles that's contained within the Bible that I try to live by. I don't get caught up in the tribes of Israel. One day I will, because it's something about the 144, right? But um, from what I begin to see, where I started reading that, now we talk about slavery in 1629, but do a lot of y'all understand that? Come on, because I'm right here. When God told Moses to go tell Pharaoh, let my people go, he held them captured. Slavery existed back then. So God sent Moses and told Moses, and sometimes I like to say it like this. He told Moses to tell that nigga, I said, let my people go. They not your people, they mine. Now understand this, I didn't see all that early on like that. And then when we talk about 1619, right? It was already black people here anyway. So some people think because the Africans came over, a lot of us wasn't born. I ain't messing with you. I ain't messing with you. I see you got for Philippians 14 and 13. Was it 14, 13? I ain't messing with you. Because you know in Philippians, the second chapter, it talks about if you have any love or any compassion or the relationship, being like-minded, being like Christ. And you just put Philippians in there. So I know you know what I'm talking about, basically, too. So um, when when I it's a lot of stuff that's written in the Bible, and that's slavery as well, where man start using it for their own advantage. And back then, slavery was a form of punishment too. And if you wasn't living right, right? Say like you came over on the ship to the motherland, and if you come over and you start acting like a fool and doing what you're doing, God will send you back. But that's not how it was with the Africans. When they went over and snatched the Africans, because it was already black people here, they couldn't enslave them like that because they was already here. But once they went and got them, brought them overseas, they knew they didn't have a way to get back home. And Devin, but since you here, because of that Middle River stuff with the racism, I started reading back into our history. I started reading back into it because certain things I couldn't understand because I wasn't really seeing it clear enough. So I had to go back and look at what we was taught. Maybe not you, Devin, because I'm just a little bit older than you, but what we was taught in history class. My son was going to a Catholic school. Did y'all know they didn't teach about Black history? And I had asked my son something that it was like he didn't know. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to start sharing Black history with my children. One day, one of the teachers, they teaching him scripture. And my son called me to ask me a question. And I fed him the question, the answer. So he was like, well, can I go back and tell my teacher this and such and such? I said, no. Because you can go back and tell them that. And I'm trying to think what it was he was saying. But if you can't do the follow up, as far as if you can't feed me anything, just anything. And if you come at me, I'm coming back at you with the solution or with the answer. Because guess what? I begin to understand that the Bible is just a love letter from God to the human being on how he wants them to live their life. And I'm talking about his people, his chosen people. That's why for me, I had to back away from a lot of stuff because there's a side of me, and that's my old testimony. That's the Old Testament. That's how God dealt with them during that time. So you have an old testimony, and you can share about your new testimony once you turn your life around. And that's all the Bible is. You got the old stuff, now you got the new stuff. And I hear people breaking it down, talking about their stories and stuff. Yeah, well, in David and when, but if you look at it, a lot of stuff you experiencing today, David went through it. So, what's his name? Jonah. When God told Jonah to go to Nineveh, Jonah didn't want to go because he had to go warn them. But Jonah wanted them to get the punishment that God had coming for them. So he tried not to go. And the reason why I'm saying that, because if you got a calling on your life and you don't be obedient, you ain't gonna have no peace in your life. If you don't be obedient to answering that calling. And that's what I learned throughout my life. In order for me to have peace in my life. And now I know that God called me. Because this is not something that I choose to do. But it's almost an hour and a half, y'all. And I just want to say I love y'all. Stay tuned, because I'm trying to put some great stuff together. Okay. I want some positive people in my life that might want to go live on my network, but teach people. Because we're going to be sending messages overseas and all this type of stuff to different countries. And I want us to share, on how we are working on things with people to make life better. So I just want to say good night, y'all. I love y'all. And stay there with me. Hey, Devin, not being smart, bro. I love you, bro. I met you You know, I think you're cool. I just hate when you try to come at me. No, it's not that I hate. Don't do that on my page, bro. All right, I'm out. I think that's say 1:30. I'm out an hour and a half. Love y'all. I'm gone.